Did you know that a lot of digestive issues are caused by a potential toxin that's in all of the quote healthy foods that scientists have been telling us to eat with a fraudulent food pyramid for the longest time? Warning signs include weight gain and fatigue, digestive discomfort and stiff joints, even skin problems. Well, Dr. Gundry, a world-renowned cardiologist, explains these side effects are often mistaken for normal signs of aging because digestive issues develop usually over a matter of years and sometimes even decades. He says the damage is probably caused by these health foods and it's far from normal. The good news is you can easily help fix the problem from your own home. It's very simple. You just have to know which foods are actually healthy and which contain this hidden potential toxin. So you can go find this yourself at gutcleanseprotocol.com/inspired, because after years of research, Dr. Gundry has decided to release an informative video to the public, free and uninterrupted, showcasing exactly which foods you need to avoid. Go find that video at gutcleanseprotocol.com/inspired or click on the link in the video description below.
You can control a man for a period with brute violence, but you cannot truly own a man unless he thinks your word is law and that he must obey and is virtuous for doing so.
We are losing money. A little more every month that goes by with no end in sight. They can sense weakness, and they are going to smell blood like a gator to chum. They're going to kill us both.
Mr. Scott said this man is a miracle worker. I think he can help us.
You're a Nick? Good people, good people. My name is Mr. Smith. As of this very moment, you are now all free. Free at last.
From now on, we are all in this together.
This plantation will run on equality. I have created something called Jones Plantation Credits.
We're gonna keep them up to their ears in debt.
Jimmy Jack will now be in charge of our new security team to protect this plantation and to serve all of you. You two are gonna have a little contest to see who can win the hearts and minds of the human livestock out there.
Bo Jones!
Most people are weak-minded to wield real power. You must be willing to do what most consider unthinkable.
What most people consider to be unthinkable is that men like you even exist.
That's our greatest advantage. As free people, we work together for mutual benefit, letting our love and mercy.
We are not free.
I ain't no slave.
They have tricked you into thinking that choosing your own master is the same as being free.
You offer them a truth that they don't want. They want to feel safe.
There's a dark thing going on in this plantation.
Every man deserves freedom, but freedom isn't free.
I'm Nathaniel Jones, and I approve this message. God bless you, and God bless this glorious...
Toodaloo.
Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Thank you for joining us on X Rumble and YouTube, and thanks for being in the live chat. So many people already in here. So good to see you all. Barcelona is in the house. Good to see you. Laura Ann is here. Dacta is here. J Frog, Jim, good to see you, brother. Cottage Farm, Renee, Barbara, Little Light Warrior, good to see you, friends. Chaos Cat, 13, David Deaton, the Shaman from Within. So many people tuning in every day these days. Thank you all. It's so good to see you. Sitting Kitty is here. Yes, the Jones Plantation truly is a great movie. AK Amber, David, Lori, Gerald, good to see you. Thank you all for being here with us. All righty. Let's jump into it. First off, I want to invite you actually right after this live stream at 12 p.m. Central. We're going to do our Coffee and Truth show on locals. And today's show is called Behind Enemy Lines, Our Time on a Major Political Campaign. So we're going to talk about quite a few years back. We were part of a major political campaign. And we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, my friends, and very insightful. If once you're in there, like in it, some things that you simply assume become, get confirmed, and other things you couldn't even imagine show themselves to you. So that's what we're going to talk about on locals. We put the link down below, and I'll put the link in here, the live chat too, if you want to join us on locals for this. But today I want to talk about, we're going to peel the onion. You know how this works. We're not going to, boom, here's a sensation, but we're going to peel the onion and get maybe to a broader perspective. Right now, depending on what circles you're in and depending on where you're consuming media, you will hear talk about Biden, you will hear talk about Trump, talk about RFK Jr., talk about Dr. Shiva. More or less, that's it, right? Then some replacement candidates for Biden. But the political spectrum, it's sort of from the center outward to those candidates who come in that have, let's say, a much broader view, that are bringing in greater topics, that are bringing in more authenticity, and that's all greatly appreciated. But we have to look at this. Maybe this gives us the opportunity to look at this entire thing from the outside in. Fundamentally, nothing is different fundamentally in a 2024 race than in a 2020 race, or the 2016 race, or the 2012 race. I understand. Don't get me wrong. I'm not naive. I know what people are saying. You don't understand. Trump's different. Trump was always different. He was an outsider. No, but okay. No, but okay. Not an outsider whatsoever. But no, but okay, I'll let that sit. It's not about that. What hasn't changed in all this time is this entire system and the entire notion. Okay, so the entire notion is that 330 million people, minus those who are not eligible for whatever reason, too young or for other reasons, to vote, will go. Maybe half of them, maybe a little more than half, will go to the polling stations and they will cast their votes. And with that, they will cast their hopes and their dreams. Some will be absolutely certain they finally made the right choice. Some will think they're on the right side of history, and all that, all those things. And from here until then, if it actually does happen, the entire theater is continuing to play. Right now, the Republican convention is happening in Milwaukee. I tune in from time to time just to watch the clips, watch the speeches just a little bit. And it is the greatest American show you could possibly imagine. I mean, everything is just perfectly orchestrated. The flags, the colors, the music, the confetti, the speeches. They're telling you what you need to hear. This is the most important election in our history. This is the one that will either save America or not. And the messages haven't changed much over the years and the decades. It's getting more emotional. We're closer to this, or we're in this incredible reset that is happening. And there is a candidate out there that nobody's talking about. There's an option that almost no one is even thinking about. And that would be the absolute game changer. This would be such a monumental shift, unlike anything we've ever seen before. What I keep hearing and what I have been hearing for many years is We need better leadership. We need people that are not corruptible in this system. The system works with the right people. I mean, there's a million versions of this. But who created this system? Do you think it was you, me? Do you think it was people like us? No, this system isn't corrupt. It's not broken. The system works exactly as it should. Now you have to ask yourself, who designed it and for what purpose? Who made it that way? Listen, we are, as a collective, simply given over power to people we've never met, to people we have to take at their word, and who historically have always let us down. But even if they didn't, why do we need them? Why is this such a complex, out of proportion, blown up system? Why is it so big, so complicated, so convoluted? So you and I and most people out there think, oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't possibly take care of my own affairs. I couldn't possibly govern myself. I couldn't take self-ownership. We couldn't possibly create what we need together on our own without this system. So I'll let the cat out of the bag. The mystery candidate in 2024 is someone you see every day.
Ask who they think.
Who do you think that is? It's someone you see every day. Who do you think the mystery candidate is? I really want to hear it. I'm watching the live chat here today. Who do you think the mystery candidate is? Well, I've been studying the legal system and I've been studying the political system.
Oh, beautiful.
There you go. There you go. So here the answers are coming in. The guy in the mirror, me, us, yourself. That's exactly who the mystery candidate is, my friends. That's exactly who the mystery candidate is. There's a shift that's happening in people. And see, until now, for the most part, people that have done research, spiritual work, inner work, so they do this, they expand, they expand, they expand, and then they meet that outer line. And so by the time the next election rolls around, they're looking for the person that is closest to them in terms of alignment, what they say, what they think. And that is not a bad thing. But why? Why do we transfer that authority? Why do we transfer that responsibility? Why do we transfer that power over to one or two or a few hundred people? Why do we do that? Who taught us to do that? Are you capable of managing your own affairs? Get up in the morning, decide what you're going to have for breakfast, decide how you're going to spend the first hour of your day, decide who you're going to talk to and who you're not going to talk to, who you're going to work with, do business with, go on vacation with, who you're going to sit around a table with. Do you not decide together? Maybe some of you have a garden or some of you have a little plot. Don't you decide as a family, what are you going to plant? What are you going to grow? Flowers or veggies? Or how are you going to take care of yourself? You're going to exercise. You're going to eat well. Listen, we're so programmed into thinking that there are things in our lives that we can't do ourselves. But we can. And all it took was for this apparatus to keep bombarding us over years and decades and centuries and millennia. And the game hasn't changed. Well, people say, but today, John, you're wrong. Today we have a democracy or a constitutional republic in America on paper. So it's different. Today we get to choose who represents us. I could absolutely dismantle this narrative in a second. And I might, but I'll go back to the time where we didn't choose the leaders, but the leaders were presented to us. Nonetheless, the principle was the same. This is the wise leader. This is the Pharaoh. This is the anointed one. This is the chosen one. This is the one who's inherited power from God. This is the royal bloodline. The story ultimately is the same. We should trust their wisdom. They know best. We should trust their guidance, and they can do it. And here, as we stand here now, we are being played just the same. And the message is just the same. Trust me. I will do the right thing. As president, I will fix it. As your leader, I will finally do what it takes to change this country. Now think about that. So we're saying, as 330 million individuals, that we're given one man, and currently there are only men out there. We're given one man this awesome power to fix this nation. That we're given one man the authority to do what it takes to end a war, to bring in better conditions, to stop inflation, to end poverty, whatever. So we're given this authority to one man, and then by proxy, of course, to a few hundred people in Congress, the Senate and the House. What about us? What about you? What about us doing it where we are? What about us changing what we want to change exactly where we are with what we have? What about us assuming all this responsibility for ourselves and talking as a community to each other? See, we're so programmed to think that we can't do it, that we don't have the ability, that we don't have the brains. And the storyline that makes this election or this period in our history even more convoluted is that for the first time in the background, we have a secret force. That we have a secret force who's actually running this show, and they're all good people, and they've already taken care of all the bad folks. This is not necessarily Q, but this is what people have made of it. This is what the movement has made of it. This narrative is out there, and this narrative is so pervasive and so strong, and it has programmed people in its own way. Because no matter what happens, I'm just giving you the slogans here. No matter what happens, patriots are in control. No matter what happens, we have it all. No matter what happens, Trump, the grand chess master, the God-anointed savior, he knows everything. He's always on top of everything. He gets everything right. And if he does or says something that's just completely out of line, then he did it with a reason. If he picks someone to run as his vice president, he does it to fool the others. If he floats around names who he's going to appoint as certain secretaries that are horrible choices in anyone's mind, this is just to throw off the deep state. The narratives are incredible. There is not a single thing this man could possibly get wrong because patriots in control, the whiteheads have it all, and we just have to watch this play out. This is the most dangerous narrative I've ever heard in the history of narratives. It's dangerous. Even if there are elements of truth to it, which I believe there are some elements in the background of truth to it. There are, because I know some of the white hats. I actually know them, but they're nothing like you think they are, or those people think they are. And I don't want to judge or point fingers. I just wanted to tell you what I did is I dove deep into this story. I researched it, very, very intensely, by the way. And I started talking to people. And, we have this distinct honor, if you will, that we're being, often introduced to incredible people that have been in the game for a long time and that we make friends with. So this just happens to us, kind of, right? Because if you're in an energy field, you attract certain people in your life. And there are incredible white hats out there who are working behind the scenes and doing things that are wonderful for the people. They're doing things because they want to truly save the people, this nation, if you will, and do their part. Some of it is so big in scope, and they ask us to not mention certain things because it might compromise what they do, and I'm okay with that. But they're nothing like these people think they are. There is no secret organization that gets together, and that doesn't exist. None of them have ever told me the Patriots are in control. Don't worry, this is all just fake. This is all just staged. Yes, things are staged. Yes, but things have always been staged. Never for our benefit, by the way. Never. Things have always been staged and created, these big, huge things that happen, of course, but never for our benefit. It was always to either steer us, manipulate us, trick us, whatever, right? That doesn't mean that within the big stage of politics, there aren't real people, there aren't real stories, there aren't real events, there aren't real things happening. The last few days have been so incredibly emotional on the social media platforms and everywhere, and also hateful and also vicious. More than one thing can be true at the same time, by the way. But the entire message here is, forget the freaking game. You didn't invent this game. You were born into it. And because you and I were born into it, it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of introspection, and it takes a lot of honesty with oneself to come to the conclusion that it is a game. And you can walk off the playing field. That's up to us to do that and say, I'm not playing any longer. Listen, for professional athletes, the field becomes their life. They're spent so much time on it that 95% of them think that's it. That is their life. The field is their life. That's reality. That's who they are. That's what they are. That's what they do. It is everything. And the more time that progresses for them, and I was a professional athlete, by the way, the more time that progresses, the more the lines get blurred in the head. And only about 5% of the athletes realize it's just a game. Yes, I get paid really well for it. Yes, millions of people are literally investing their lifetime into this game, and they make me their hero and whatnot, but it's just a game. And when they realize, some of them, of those 5%, realize the game is rigged, because the professional athlete's game is very much rigged, a lot of it. When they realize the game is rigged, the referees bought and paid for, so are some of their teammates, so are their coaches often, so is the entire structure. And when they realize why it was created in the first place, you know what a lot of them do? They say, I'm not playing any longer. We've seen this over the last years, this critical 5% that are walking off the field and saying, no, this isn't what I thought it was. This isn't what I grew up, and what I was told what I was told it is. And they walk off the field, and they realize that moment, that when they walk off the field, hey, I'm free. I don't have to do this any longer. I don't have to be part of something that I know is not real, not authentic. We lie, we cheat, we steal. I'm out. It is the same with the game of politics. We can walk off the field. We don't have to be violent about it. We don't have to fight it. We don't have to cause any kind of huge scene about it. But I'm telling you which candidate will win guaranteed in 2024. You and I and everybody else who's willing to assume full responsibility and start doing what they can with what they have, where they are, and focusing on that. That's the surefire winner of this election and any future election. Elect yourself. Elect yourself. Become the president of your own life and the CEO. Become the coach, the president, the CEO of your own life. And see what that does. This is something that happens here. It happens here and it happens here. It doesn't happen out there. The surefire way to lose, and by losing, I mean pull ourselves into even worse of a situation collectively, is to give our trust, our hopes, our dreams, our authority, our power away to strangers who 99% of the time don't even think of our lives, don't even think of our dreams. They have their own, and that's what they're in for. Not all of them. Not all of them. There are some good people. There's some good people in there. But guess what? They all come to this very similar conclusion. The game was rigged from the beginning. The system was rigged from the beginning. That's what it was designed to do. Absorb and harvest energy, attention, and power. Because everybody in this system, which is not a lot of people, by the way, everybody in this system knows that they don't get their power from laws. They don't get their power from something that's written on paper. They get their power from your attention, your belief, your energy that you invest in it. Because do you really think a law matters when 330 million people don't give a rip because that law is harmful, because that law is morally reprehensible? Do you really think that that matters? How come that we have an exponential growth in laws and regulations? What does that do? It only creates more crime. Every law that's passed creates a new crime. Every regulation that's passed creates a new transgression. That's what the system does. It puts us in an ever smaller box. So sure, we can say, well, the next guy is going to do it better, and he's going to remove some of those laws, so it's going to be a little better. But the next guy's still going to be in charge, and he's going to still claim authority over you. And the next Congress will do exactly the same. They don't see themselves as representatives. They see themselves as kings and queens. They play a game that's dirty. They play a game that's self-serving, and they see themselves as a detached ruling class. It's insane. It's literally insane. But this is how this entire thing was set up. So I'm amazed. I'm amazed at how brilliant the show is at times. I'm amazed, you know, like I said, if I tune into these conventions, I mean, it's prime time showtime. The cues, the makeup, the music, everything is just perfectly orchestrated. And you're supposed to sit there in awe, in admiration. My God, look at these people. Look at this person. Everybody's admiring them and clapping for them. He's the king. Like no one like him. When has that ever led to something good? So the greatest possible message that we could ever share is believe in yourself. And through that, you believe in your true creator, because your true creator gave you a divine spark from the beginning. Believe in yourself. This is the critical, pivotal moment we're in. There is a great reset happening. This is what this system does. It resets itself. It It shifts around the power players. It changes its names. It changes the name of the system every so often. So the main players that were called by this name will be called by a new name. They will wear a new costume. They will appear new when they're the same players, just having a new play, a new game. That's just what they do. When one system comes to its end, it is replaced by a new system run, created, and operated by the same entities. That's how it's been. There hasn't been a significant change in eons. And the only way out of this is to assume total and absolute self-responsibility. Own your freaking self. And if something goes wrong, okay, well, assume responsibility. So what? So what? We fall, we get up, we learn, we do it better. What's the problem? Have you ever asked one of the main arguments that everybody will bring to the table? You know, we have to make our economy better and great again, and we have to grow our economy again. Have you ever asked yourself why? Why does our economy continually have to grow? Why? Because there is an insane system at work, an insane monetary system at work, where we basically have to borrow our own money from an conglomerate of private banks called the Federal Reserve against interest. And because interest keeps compounding over time, the economic growth simply makes sure that we can pay the interest or the compound interest. If the economy doesn't grow, but the interest continues to grow, we can't pay that any longer. That's why we have useless sectors of economy that produce stuff nobody needs, that gets shipped all around the world, that pollutes the entire place. Think about it. Go through any dollar store. How many of the products are essential, necessary, good, helpful? None of it. It's just gimmicks. We produce gimmicks to keep an economy afloat. That is insane. That doesn't have to be that way. And we're completely disregarding our own best interest: clean water, clean air, clean food, and in a peaceful environment. These are the essentials that we have completely disregarded. Yet every 4 or every 2 years, depending on the rhythm, we are voting for the people that will grow more of the insanity, grow more of the apparatus, and completely disregard the essentials. And I understand there are some candidates in this race that are focusing on these essentials. I get that. But still, we're transferring authority rather than just doing it ourselves. Why? Why do we need them? I'm asking you again, why do we need someone to govern us? To tell us what we can and cannot do? Is this really how humans are supposed to live? Is this really what freedom is? Is this really what expressing our divinity is in this life? I don't think so. I don't think so. And it's not something that that humans produce naturally. It's very, very interesting, but tribal structures are never this way. This basically autocracy that is sold as a democracy, but it's a technocracy, autocracy. It's a technocratic, autocratic system that's been in place for a long time now. But this has been pushed on the entire world. And it's basically the same now everywhere you look. It's quite incredible. Think about it. We have continents, we have different ethnicities, races, religions, cultural backgrounds. We have all of this supposed diversity. Yet, at its core, all the political systems function pretty much the same with a few differences, but pretty much the same. The way that they present themselves to us is the same. Everywhere you have a podium and you have a guy, usually a guy, sometimes a woman, stands behind that podium. That woman is like, they just want the best for you, and they're the ones who are going to do it. And there's a flag, and there's a symbol, and there's a party, and there's a left, and there's a right. It's one game played everywhere in the world. How could that be? How could it be that it's the same everywhere? What kind of diversity is that? Yet, if we look at those very, very few tribal structures, clan structures, if you will, we will find something quite different. Most of the clan or tribe leaders, they know inherently that their leadership isn't derived from their absolute power, but if there is no trust in their wisdom and in their guidance, they're powerless. And they simply use their power, and I'm romanticizing a little bit, but they use the power to guide with wisdom. Because if you're 15 years old, it would be wonderful if you had an elder that's 70 or 80 years old whom you can learn from. And that elder is a wise guide that you come to learn about life, to hear their experiences. How many of the people that are out there running for something are wise elders? How many of them appear to you to be healthy spiritually, physically, mentally? How many have their egos in check? How many are not driven by money, sex, power? It's not a hard one to figure out. So the mystery candidate is the game changer. You're the mystery candidate. Assume full responsibility for your own life and ask yourself what that means. Write down what your life consists of. What do you need? What do you really need? First, really the essentials. And then what do you want? And then ask yourself, if Trump does not become president, can I still accomplish this in my life? If RFK Jr. doesn't become president, can we still change something? Can I still take care of my own self? Can I still take responsibility for me? Can I still feed my family? If Biden becomes president, can I still start a garden? Can I still build a community? Can I still talk to my neighbors? Ask yourself, really. When this shift happens, and this shift happened to me, and I'm going to speak for myself, although Christine's journey was similar, it happened to me many years ago. And it is something that one day on a walk, you're thinking about it, you're contemplating it, you're playing with it. One day, maybe you're on a walk, maybe you sit somewhere, maybe you wake up in the morning and you go, holy shit, it's me. It's always been me. I'm the protagonist of my life. Who am I waiting for? If millions of people do this, then all the worst case scenarios cannot play out because there's no one to play them out. If millions of people, and this is the 100th monkey effect, this is the power of the field, the power of critical mass. If millions of people have that realization, and I'm telling you, 15 years ago, there were very, very few. There are millions now, but we can grow that number exponentially by talking about it, by sharing these thoughts, by becoming it. When millions of people do that, the power immediately is taken away. So wars cannot play out. Some sort of false flag, worst case scenarios cannot play out. Why? Because in order for something to be played out, you need players. You need people to participate. And when we don't, boom, it's game over. When we don't participate in our own enslavement, it's game over. I'm sorry, can you hear me again? I think the audio was lost for a moment. When we don't participate, let me see, make sure. Nope, here we go. When we do not participate in our own enslavement, the game's over. This is my message, my friends. This is it, for today anyways. And we'll continue, of course, to talk about these things. We'll continue to talk about this, what is playing out on the outside, because every day that we do that, every day that we peel another layer of the onion helps us to see things more clearly. But there is a world, there is a community, there is a life that does not require this external government, that does not require this overburdening structure. Like I've always said, I'm not an anti-system person. I've never been that. I don't fight anyone. I'm not going out there and I'm saying, go fight the government. No, not whatsoever. Not at all. I'm saying that born from 100% personal responsibility, born from self-ownership, will be a system that serves us and not the other way around. That's the simple message. But first, we have to claim it for ourselves, the self-ownership. All righty. Thank you for joining us here. And now we're gonna go a little bit into story time. As I said in the beginning, we're doing a show in about 15 minutes at 12 p.m. Central. That's our Coffee and Truth live stream on Locals. And that's going to be, it's called Behind Enemy Lines, our time on a major political campaign. So we're going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly if you want to join us for that. Links in the live chat, links in the video description. It's on Locals. So if you go to inspired.locals.com, join us there. And we're going to talk about, our time on the campaign trail. We spent about a year on a major national political campaign. And it was incredible. In many ways, life-altering. And it gives you a deeper appreciation for what is really going on in this world. So that's what we're going to talk about. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back with you again very, very soon. You're looking for like-minded and like-hearted people to connect with? Then the Inspired community on Locals is the right place for you. You can post, comment, share, and connect with others, and our shows there are completely uncensored and unfiltered. It's stuff we can't talk about here. It's such a great community, and there are 0 trolls. We keep the subscription fee super low, so 19 cents per day. Keep the trolls away. Join us today at inspired.locals.com. We can't wait to see you there.